So hey guys, it's Kyla. Welcome back. Today's video obviously is going to be my February wrap up. I have read so many books this month. Let's see exactly how many did I read. I read 12 books this month and the month still isn't even over. So I'm actually pre-filming this because I'm going on a trip. Whenever you guys are watching this, I am on my trip. So I have to film this video pretty early. If anything, I'm probably going to read like one more book this month, but that's about it. So I want to talk about all the books I read this month. So this month I read a lot on my Kindle. I did read a handful of paperbacks, but most of my reads came from my Kindle this month because I recently got it again. If you guys don't know, my Kindle broke in January. Like, it just stopped working. I say it broke, but it just stopped working. So I had to get a new one. So I have the new one and I kind of went crazy and have read a lot of books. Also, I'm trying to find like different places to film around my room. This probably will not be another spot that I film at again. I'm just trying stuff out because I'm getting kind of bored of the same background. I'm gonna start off with all the paperbacks I have first, and then I'm gonna get into what I read on my Kindle. So we'll do it in that order. So the first paperback that I actually do not have with me because I borrowed it from my friend, I read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I gave this one a 3 out of 5. Fantasy books are really not my kind of book. Cruel Prince is about Jude and Cardan. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, the romance in it, like between Jude and Cardan. To me, there wasn't like any kind of romance. It was just a book about Jude and about like political fantasy, that kind of stuff, which personally I don't really like that in books. To me, it was hyped up a lot. Like, I can understand why people like it. Like, I really can. I'm not saying that if you like this book, like, you're wrong. Just personally was not for me, and I did not find that there was any romance in it. I did give this book a 3 out of 5, and then I read maybe like 100 pages of the next book, and I decided to DNF the series because I just was not into it. I was very confused about the relationship between Jude and Cardan because I was like, this makes no sense. It's so hot and cold and it's honestly annoying me. So I did not finish the series. It wasn't for me, but that was the first book I read this month. So the next book that I read was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. If you guys do not know, if you guys have not been around for a while, you would not know I've been trying to read Harry Potter, the series, since maybe like September of 2021. I'm on the 5th book, but this book took me forever because of how big it is, and I need to stop being intimidated by big books because if it's a big book, then it has to be good. Like, it has to. All the big books that I've always read are always so good. I'm so intimidated by them for no reason. But I gave this one a 4 out of 5. It's my favorite one so far in the series. The first 3 I didn't really like. I don't even like the first 3 movies, and I don't start to like them until the 4th one. The 4th one is my favorite. I don't know. I love like the games part of this. I love Hunger Games. It's my favorite. I like this one a lot. And then the next paperback that I read was Twisted Games by Anna Huang. Oh my gosh. So this book was a reread for me. I read it first on my Kindle back in December or January. No, it was December that I read this book on my Kindle, and then I decided that I need the whole entire series on paperback, so I bought it. I did annotate this book quite a bit. So this book is Bridget's book. If you guys don't know, there's 4 friends in this series. There's Ava, Jules, Bridget, and Stella. So this is Bridget's book. Bridget is a princess and she has to get a new bodyguard because her bodyguard is leaving because he has a kid. So, and then you meet Rise Larson, who is her bodyguard. It is a bodyguard romance book. It is forced proximity. It is a forbidden romance. I love this book so much. I did give it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't know because I want to give it 5 stars. I want to, but I don't know. Maybe it is 5 stars. You know, I'm changing my rating. This is a 5-star book because I love the Twisted series. Like, every other book in the Twisted series is a 5-star for me. But basically, you just get to like know their story, and it is kind of a slow burn, but there's just a bunch of like tension building up over the years because you get to follow them for like over a span of years, not just like a couple months, not just like a couple weeks. Like, you get to know them for over a couple years. You get to know who they become, and you follow her from in the middle of college to like out of college. She's great. I love Bridget. I also love Rise. I love it whenever book boyfriends are like protective and like possessive of like their girls. Not in a weird way, but in a good, cute way. And that's exactly what Rise Larson is. Their story is amazing. If you have not read it, go read it. So after I read Twisted Games, I read Twisted Hate. I think this book came out at the end of January. It came out January 27th. The 4th and final one of the series comes out in June, I believe. But this book is Josh Chen's and Jules Ambrose's story. Josh Chen is Ava's older brother who you meet in Twisted Love. Jules is Ava's best friend, and they absolutely hate each other until things happen. This book is thick. This book is 500 pages, but it is like beautiful. I also gave this book a 5 out of 5. It made me feel things. It made me scream. It made me cry. I say it made me cry, almost made me cry, but I didn't quite cry. It takes a lot for me to cry out of a book. This is enemies to lovers. It is enemies with benefits, you know, like friends with benefits, but it's enemies with benefits. The banter in this is absolutely amazing. He is a doctor. She is going to school to be a lawyer. It is great. I freaking love them. From the beginning of this book, they had a connection and they are too dumb to see it. They are so like prideful of themselves that they don't let themselves like actually get somewhere with each other for the longest time, and it's so annoying, but whatever. Just the way that Josh would kill a man for Jules, the way that Josh would do anything for Jules. Go read this book, go buy it, and the 4th one is coming soon. The next book that I read was The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. This is part of the Off-Campus series. I freaking love the Off-Campus series with my entire heart. It takes like so much out of me not to read all of these books in like 1 week because I don't want the series to be over anytime soon. I literally, each book that I read in the series, I have all read in one sitting. I could read the entire series in like a week. I try not to because I can't do that to myself. I can't let it be over that fast. So in this book, you meet John, Logan, and Grace. So I give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The reason it does not get a 5 stars, and this is for every single one of Elle Kennedy's books, at least the 2 in the Off-Campus series I've read, the Briar U ones are like better about this. The reason why she does not get 5 stars is because the first like 50-60 pages in like all of Elle Kennedy's books, from what I see, the guy being like, I'm a hockey player, I have sex with a bunch of women, I get whoever I want, I am prideful, I am the best, and just, I don't want to hear about that. I don't care. I don't want to know that you've had sex with every single freaking female on campus. It just annoys me because I'm like, okay, we get it. What's the point? But that's like in every single one of her books, but once you get past the first like 50 pages, maybe even less, then it gets so much better, and I'm here for the story and not like to hear about that. So, but nonetheless, this book is amazing. So in this book, you meet Grace and John Logan. They are beautiful. I freaking love them. Whenever they first meet, they kind of just like bump into each other and just like continue on their day. They don't like exchange words or anything. And then the second time they meet, they become instant friends and they watch a movie together. It's amazing. I freaking love them. They're adorable. Nothing happened. They're just watching a dang movie and they're having a great time. And then they start to have a little thing, and then something happens and Grace is like, I don't want to be with you. You hurt me. Get away. And so they spend the summer apart. Logan is doing his thing. Grace is in Paris living her life. And then the next semester starts. They both change so much. You see Grace come from this freshman who is kind of a pushover into the sophomore, beautiful woman who does not take people's crap. She has learned from Logan, and she's learned from her ex-best friend Ramona about how she needs to not be a pushover anymore and all this other kind of stuff. And then Logan's like, oh my gosh, I messed up real bad. Let me get back into her life real quick. So he spends the next couple months fighting for her attention and doing everything that he can to get back into her life. And the stuff that he goes through to be back in her life is really funny. It makes me laugh. I freaking love this book. I feel like this book is kind of heavier whenever it comes to like specific topics, especially from Logan's side, because the deal, it was just kind of like, okay, whatever. But this one is really, really good. I think it handled it beautifully. I really did enjoy this book. It's one of my favorites. It's great. It's amazing. Moving on. So just the last paperback that I read this month was Frostbite. It's the second book of the Vampire Academy series. I love like Vampire Academy and Twilight a lot. I have the first book in the Crave series, and I bet I'm gonna love that one as well. This is the second book of Frostbite. I'm not gonna speak too much about it, but you guys should all go read Vampire Academy. My favorite movie, one of my favorite series of all time. Go read it. It's great. So enough about paperbacks. We're gonna get into all of my Kindle reads. Now, I read a lot on Kindle this month. I read a lot of freaking good books. Pretty much all of my ratings this month have been either 4 or 5 stars, other than like maybe 2 books. So the first book that I read on here was Bad Habit by Charlie Rose. I gave this a 2 out of 5. I honestly hated it. I didn't feel connected to the characters. I wasn't involved in their story. I didn't really care what happened to them. It was very like teeny, and I did not like that. It is age gap. It starts off whenever I think he's like 17 and she's 14, and then he leaves and he comes back and she is a senior in high school and he is, I don't think he's in college. It's like brother's best friend, secret relationship. Those are kind of the tropes, and I just wasn't here for it. I didn't really care because the main character was annoying. The guy was annoying. I did like the ending of this though. It was kind of cute. So that is the first book in the Bad Love series that she has going on. I think it's 3 books, so it's a trilogy, but they each follow different characters, same as like the Twisted series would. So in Bad Habit, you meet Dare for like a brief moment, and he is someone who was around the main guy of Bad Habit. I can't remember his name because I did not care, but you meet Dare, who was like kind of this older brother figure of, I think his name is Alex. Bad Intentions, which is the second book of the series, is his book. I finished this book in one night. I started it at like 9 p.m. I finished it at 2 a.m. No, I started at like 10, finished it at 1. Bad Intentions, I gave that a 5 out of 5. It was an instant 5 out of 5 for me. Freaking loved it. In this book, you meet Lo and Dare. Lo moves to Dare's town. It's a really, really small town. Everybody knows everybody. So her being new there with her younger brother is like, she's the talk of the town. And she needs a job. She goes and works at this diner, but she needs like another job to pay for other stuff. And Dare offers her a job at the tattoo shop that he owns, works at, that kind of stuff. I love Lo. She is such a strong character. She does not want like anyone's help. She's that type of person who just like wants to do it on her own because she doesn't want to have to like rely on other people because of what has happened in her past. And Dare, for some reason, he's like secluded from everybody. He does not like Dare does not like anybody, but he has a soft spot for Lo. I love them so much. I was so connected to their characters. I was so connected to their story. This book just had so many twists and turns and so many things happened that I was just like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? It was so freaking good. I think this book is like literally just under 300 pages too. I just did not want it to end. It did not feel like it was that short. I felt like it was like so big. Bad Intentions was so much better than the first book. Please go read it, please. So then the third book in the series is Bad Influence. It is Jess's story. Jess is Lo's little brother, and now we see him going to college. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. I loved it. There were some parts though that I was just kind of like, okay, no. Most of it I was just like, okay, I like this. And then some of it I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And the other parts I was like, I hate this. But you meet Jess and Allie. They both go to college. Allie moves to this new town to go to college, but for some reason, after something that happens, she's homeless. She's looking for places to stay at. And then she like runs into Jess at the diner, and he's instantly attracted by her. It wasn't like an insta love though. It was just kind of like, he's like, ooh, pretty girl. And then they get to know each other, and connections and feelings fly around, and they're amazing, but they don't want to be together. They are so back and forth with each other just because of their past. They've been hurt before and they don't want that to happen again. So nothing really happens for the longest time. She does get help from Dare and Lo. You get to see Dare and Lo a lot in this book, which I freaking love. They are my absolute favorites. Dare and Lo can have my heart for forever. Jess and Allie start to have like this forced proximity, and they're around each other all the time, and they go back and forth so much, but in the end they are happy, and I love that. Please go read the book. I honestly would recommend skipping Bad Habit. Like, you don't need that one to understand this series, but please do read Bad Intentions and Bad Influence. They're still amazing. I love them so much. Okay, so the second to last book that I read on my Kindle was A Love Letter to Whiskey. This book broke me. There has been only 2 other books in the world that I cried over. One of them was one about the Holocaust, and then the second one was Ugly Love, and now this one, all the emotions. All of the emotions. I was sad, I was angry, I was happy, I was crying. All of the emotions were flying out to this book. This book literally tore me to shreds and put me back together. It is one of my favorite books in the entire planet. I will be buying the paperback whenever I do get money because I need it that bad. It is so beautiful, and I need my hands on it. But let me get into what this book is actually about. So this book is not dual POV, but that's why there is a novella. So the first book you see B sides of the story, and then in the second book you get to see Whiskey's side of the story. Whiskey is not his actual name. His name is Jamie. B and Jamie, they meet. You get to see them go from meeting in high school to them after college. Jamie starts dating her best friend, and so they're around each other a lot, but they just have like this instant connection that is just always there, that whenever they get together, they just like all of the emotions just fly, but they are best friends. They decide to stay best friends and not do anything more about it because they can't. She doesn't want to do that to her friend. He doesn't want to do that to his girlfriend, so they just stay friends. And then whenever Jamie and B's friend breaks up, they are not near each other because Jamie is a year above them, so he goes off to college. They finish out high school. B goes to college, ends up at the same one as Jamie, and everything just starts all over again. And this is just how it is over the years of their friendship, of them knowing each other. Everything just is snowballing all the time. This book was friends to lovers, I would say childhood friends to lovers, because of like when they started being friends, years of waiting. It just hit all the boxes for me. It was so freaking good. I don't even want to like say much about this book because it's just so impactful and it is so freaking good that I don't want to like say the wrong thing, and I don't want to give too much because I want you all to go into this book and read it because it is so good. The last book that I read this month was Collided by Lauren Asher. I did indeed finish this one this morning. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. I really did like it. So in this book you meet Liam, who's an F1 racer, and then you meet Sophie. Her father is the principal of the team, like against Liam's team, and so it's kind of forbidden. So their tropes are forbidden love, forced proximity, and friends to lovers. They met each other actually 2 or 3 years prior to this season of F1 racing. They just kind of like talk. They have this kind of instant connection towards each other. Then they don't see each other for years, and then they come back, and then Liam immediately recognizes her, who is Sophie, and he's like, oh my gosh, Sophie, how are you? And then they just start becoming instant friends. Now Sophie has this list called the F-It list of a bunch of bucket list kind of things she wants to do during the time that she's with the racing team, or like on her trip going around the world with them, because she's a good girl who hasn't really done much in her life. And so she's like, but she kind of goes crazy and she's like, I want to rebel. But then Liam starts to help her with this list that she has. I love Liam. He is definitely a protective boyfriend. They just like hit it off, and they are so back and forth with each other. It makes me like, what are you doing? Because they want to be together, but they won't be together because of so many other stuff that's like kind of irrelevant. I did really like it. I liked it a lot. Please go read the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher. I'm only on the 2nd book, and I don't want to read the rest of them until I have the paperbacks because I know that those ones are like the really, really good ones, but I absolutely love Collided. So those are all the books that I read this month. I know I kind of went on a tangent with some of them, but I want you guys to read these books. This will probably be like my best reading month out of this entire year because I read so many good books, and I found so many 5-star reads this month. It's literally crazy. I freaking love this book though. I really do. I freaking loved all these books though. Like, they're all so good. I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.